It has been nearly 11 years since the last truly new Mario Kart game came out. But folks, I bring tidings of good news. The drought is finally over. On June 5th, exclusive to the new Switch 2, Nintendo, in all their generosity and goodness, has seen fit to grace us with Mario Kart World for the low price of $80. In case you somehow missed it, as part of the most recent Nintendo Direct, we received a trailer for this new game that showed off all sorts of things, from the open world mode to new items to a greatly expanded roster, including all your favorite Nintendo icons like Coin Coffer, the cow from Moo Moo Meadows, and Bonefish. $80 well spent. However, while this trailer did show off a lot, they also kept a lot of details close to the vest. Or at least, they tried to keep things close to the vest. Now, I want to be clear, I have never played this game, and I don't have any sort of insider information. I just pay attention. So, this is your official spoiler warning. Because I have found every single track from Mario Kart World. Richard, hit that intro. My first question upon seeing this trailer was, does this game even have tracks? Now that may seem like a dumb question, it's freaking Mario Kart. But remember, this is the generation of gaming where open world equals good. Even if the open world doesn't actually add anything to the actual gameplay, and it would be far better off as a more focused experience, but that is a whole nother can of worms. This trailer puts a large focus on the ability to drive anywhere you want, to the point where it isn't necessarily clear if there are any traditional tracks at all. There isn't even a mention of a versus mode where you can freely select tracks, which is where you'd usually spend 99% of your time in these games. Luckily though, in the days following the trailer, IGN released some gameplay videos that clear some things up and proves that yes, this game does have traditional tracks. But maybe not that many of them. As in past games, Mario Kart World has a Grand Prix mode, where you can race through 4 preset tracks in a row for a high score. Now, in the trailer, they say that the Grand Prix now includes driving between the tracks, but that is a little misleading. As we see in the IGN trailer, this drive is not taking place in between races, it counts as the first 1 to 2 laps of the next race, and then you just do one loop around the actual track to finish it off. However, if you look closely when they reach the actual track, the map zooms in, showing that they are designed as self-contained loops and implying that there is a versus mode where you can pick a track and race around it 3 times in classic Mario Kart fashion. So, now that we know that there are tracks, let's dissect all these videos to see if we can figure out what these tracks are. In the trailer, we can see that all of these tracks are located on the same map. So, if we can pick through this footage and analyze this map to match things up, we should be able to uncover every single track. I think the best place to start is with the Grand Prix mode because, well, they literally show you more than half the tracks on screen and exactly where they're located on the map. Real hard detective work here. By the looks of it, this game will feature 7 Grand Prix Cups, each with 4 tracks. Let's run through everything we know for sure. The Mushroom Cup contains Mario Bros. Circuit, Crown City, Whistletop Summit, and DK Spaceport, tracks that we can see in their entirety in the IGN video. The Flower Cup has Desert Hills, Shy Guy Bazaar, Wario Stadium, and Airship Fortress. If any of these names sound familiar, they should, because they are all tracks that have featured in past Mario Kart games. This is pretty traditional for Mario Kart at this point, bringing back old classics into the new games, but I have a feeling that these tracks will be remixed a bit to stitch them in with the rest of the open world. They tried to get sneaky by blacking out the Star Cup, but if you just brighten up the image, we can easily place DK Pass, Starview Peak, Sky High Sundae, and Wario Shipyard on the map. And the last one they show is the Shell Cup, featuring Koopa Troopa Beach, Faraway Oasis, and then, interestingly, Crown City again, only this time at night, which may bring some significant changes to the track, though it's unclear. And then lastly, we have Peach Stadium. So, based on just those few seconds of trailer, we know the exact names and locations of 15 tracks. Unfortunately, the other 3 cups are not shown. Normally we could infer that if there are 4 tracks per cup, there must be 12 tracks remaining. But since they've already set a precedent for repeating tracks, that's not necessarily a guarantee. I'm also going to make the very bold guess and say that there's a secret 8th cup, the special cup, the crown cup, something along those lines, located in the sky above the map, as a little reference to the original Super Mario World and, every other Mario game since then. It's not really that bold of a prediction. And this is where you'd find this game's Rainbow Road, along with maybe like a Cloud one. They really seem to like those, and probably 2 more. I don't know. I got nothing to go on here. Anyway, those are all the tracks that are explicitly named, but it's not all the tracks we can place. A few seconds later, we get a glimpse of the map for the first rally of the new Knockout mode, the Golden Rally. Now, the IGN video makes it clear that this mode doesn't really focus on the tracks themselves, and more the roads in between. Most of the time, they just quickly pass through these tracks as a checkpoint before moving on. But they still show the icons on the map, and that's all the info I need. There are 8 rallies in total, but they have a lot more overlap between them in terms of checkpoints. The Golden Rally starts in Desert Hills, then moves through Mario Bros. Circuit, both of which we've already seen in the Grand Prix mode. Next, we move to this dirt zone thing. Kind of looks like a place that Lightning McQueen might hang out. I don't know. I think this is a brand new track, but if anyone recognizes it from a past game, let me know in the comments below. After that, rejoice, because Moo Moo Meadows is back. Based on the overhead map, it looks a little different from the Wii Classic. It seems like they added in some side paths for the free roam mode, but it's good to see that Nintendo has decided to embrace the exciting possibility of committing vehicular cow slaughter as a cow. This next one is interesting. Based on the icon, it seems to be Mario Circuit 1, 2, and 3 from the original SNES Mario Kart all packed together. Maybe you do a different one for each lap, which is kind of interesting. But also these flat tracks always kind of suck and are boring, and I don't know why they insist on jamming them into every single game. And lastly, we head up to this big tree. I kind of want to call this one Wild Wood, returning from Mario Kart 8 because of the lily pad section at the base and, well, the big tree, but it also could be something new. It's hard to tell at this point. Unfortunately, that's all the information we can get from the trailer. But thankfully, our search is not over yet. Our friends at IGN have our backs with even more information. Because they probably accidentally showed off more than they were supposed to. Whoops! In the video where they show off the knockout mode, we get a brief glimpse of the rally select screen. And based on the context clues, good old Detective Charlie has cracked this case wide open. Before recording this video, they no doubt played a rally off camera to prepare. And as such, when the game loads up, it starts on the Cherry Rally. They quickly scroll back to the beginning, but as they do so, we get a few frames of each of these maps. They left the door open for me, but a mere crack, and it was all I needed to kick the whole thing down. Like a shark smelling blood in the water, I have found my prey. Like Sherlock Holmes, I have found the clue that unravels this whole mystery. Like a great scientist, I have unlocked the deepest secrets of existence itself. I just paused the video, it actually wasn't all that complicated. Let's go through each of these to see what new information we can glean. The Ice Rally begins in Sky High Sunday and goes to Starview Peak, which we've already seen before. But then we move on to this sort of mountain one. I'll be honest, I tried real hard to guess the theme or name of this one, but I got nothing. It's just a mountain road. After that, we move south to an autumnal pagoda track that looks really cool. Then we move to Peach Stadium and end in Crown City. Guess they really like that one. Moon Rally starts at the top of the big volcano. I'm gonna guess that this is this game's Bowser's Castle. They always gotta have one, and come on, this has Bowser's Feng Shui written all over it. I'm pretty sure this next one is Toad's Factory. Based on just the icon, we have the dirt and the mud patch out front with the big wingnut on top. Glad to see that Nintendo recognizes the goat. Then on to Moo Moo Meadows, back to the Weird Mountain one, down to the Fall Pagoda, and ending in Faraway Oasis. The Spiny Rally begins all the way up north in this forest. The shot is pretty low res, so it's hard to tell, but this kind of looks like a Hollywood-themed track to me. It's got some film reels and a spotlight in the back, so I think that's what's going on here. The next two we've already seen, Starview Peak and DK Pass. Then we move on to this coastal Mediterranean-looking city that I think we see in the trailer here with the canals. Then we go to this beachside resort hotel that, unfortunately, I don't think is Woohoo Loop, which might just be the biggest dropped ball in gaming history. I mean, if you guys were adamant about that $80 price tag, forget about Bonefish and whoever else you jammed in here. If you gave me a game where I can freely drive around Woohoo Island, I will empty my bank account on site. On site! Anyway, we end in Wario Shipyard, again, another repeat. And the last rally that we could see is the Cherry Rally, starting at the garbage, not Woohoo Island resort track, and then moving on to this dinosaur one that we saw in the trailer a bunch. We don't have a name, but it seems to be inspired by Dino Dino Jungle from Double Dash. And all the rest are more repeats. Koopa Troopa Beach, DK Spaceport, Whistletop Stadium, and Desert Hills. So with that added information, that brings our total number of confirmed tracks up to 27. Probably 31 with that extra world that will probably be accessed via this star-shaped lake. Nintendo, I see right through you. Now, I gotta say, that is a far cry from the 96 tracks that were in Mario Kart 8 by the end of its life. But there is still hope. There are still 3 whole Grand Prix Cups and 3 knockout rallies that we've never seen. There could still be more tracks that only feature in these later lists, and there'd be no way for us to know about them, right? Well, actually, we can know, if we just do a little math. Currently, we have 27 tracks on our map. We were explicitly shown 15 of them on the Grand Prix screen in the trailer, which would leave at most 12 more tracks for the 3 cups that we didn't see. And as it just so happens, the knockout mode maps have already shown us exactly 12 more tracks, leaving every cup fully accounted for without me needing any more repeats like Crown City. And to take it one step further, I think we can actually pinpoint exactly which tracks will go with each of these remaining cups. Look down at the dinosaur track. If we know that we can't repeat any tracks in order to use all 12, then really the only place we can go from here would be the resort hotel. From there, we kind of have to go to the Canal City, and then from there, we have to end at the Fall Pagoda. Or technically, you could also go in the reverse order. It's the same either way. We know that these 4 tracks have to be linked because there isn't really anywhere else to go. I'm gonna guess that this one is the Leaf Cup, mostly because it features the only track with fall leaves. For the last 2, admittedly, we can't be as sure. They're more clumped up, so there are a couple of possible ways that you could arrange it. But I do have a solid, educated guess. First, it's a pretty safe bet that the Lightning Cup, the final cup in the game, will end at Bowser's Castle, because that just makes sense. You end with the final boss, and then you go to space. So working backwards, we could go to Toad's Factory or the Big Tree one. Since the Moon Rally already features the road between Bowser's Castle and Toad's Factory, I'm gonna guess that they'll wanna mix it up and do the Big Tree one. Mario Circuit seemed like the sort of track that would be the first in a cup, which means in between, you'd probably have the Hollywood one. So the Lightning Cup would go Mario Circuit, the Hollywood movie one, the Big Tree, and end in Bowser's Castle. And that just leaves these 4 in the Banana Cup. The Mountain one, Moo Moo Meadows, Toad's Factory, and the Dirt Zone thing. And then, of course, the 8th Secret Cup, which at this point could just feature 4 different Rainbow Roads. There's so many of them. So there you have it, folks. With the power of observation and a little bit of math, we have successfully uncovered every single track in Mario Kart World, based on a single trailer with a little assist from IGN. But that leaves us with just one question. Will it be worth the price? Say you're the kind of person who is only really interested in the versus mode, sitting down with 3 of the boys, pounding out some games for hours on end while avoiding all of your actual responsibilities. I wonder what that's like. If that's the case, how much bang are you getting for your buck? Well, let's do a little more math. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe plus the Booster Pass would cost you a total of $85 and get you 96 tracks to play. That is a total of 88 cents per track. At $80 for just 27 tracks, Mario Kart World would run you $2.96 per track, which means that either these are some damn good tracks, or, more likely, Nintendo has valued the inclusion of a dead fish, and all these other guys, I guess, at $61.24. You want me to pay $80 for the f***ing bonefish? And a massive thank you to all my supporters on Patreon, including Alakazam, Aspa102, Big Dog Tie 4 to Win, Captain Kirby, Sidian, Sherry and Mark, Stylish, The Boss Killer 94, Tricks of Crows, and did you know that the character limit on the Patreon name is very high? Well, it is high enough, in fact, that I could name myself M. Thanks, M.